Hello everyone, this is Aegis again, and we do have the second game between British Columbia Institute of Technology and Texas A&M, and here I have Benjamin playing Protoss for Texas A&M, the blue Protoss spawning here on Jungle Basin, and on the other side I have a RevsynC spawning as the purple Terran player for the British Columbia Institute of Technology. I did look at the rankings of all of these players, and I believe every single one of these players are in the Masters League, so these games should be quite good. As we did see in the last game, both players played phenomenally well, taking the game into the late game, and we do have RevsynC getting his supply depot at a standard timing. And we'll see if Benjamin does decide to do a fast, like a really absurdly fast expansion. Suppose on 15 food getting a Nexus, then he is spamming away his APM there. If we look at his APM, he does have a 240 APM. He desperately wants to win this game for Texas A&M, and we'll see what he decides to do to be able to take that. He is chrono boosting out those probes and is going to go for his gateway, so not a fast expand build from Benjamin here, is going to get that gateway out first. And these games are from the Collegiate Star League. The Collegiate Star League is a league of 144 colleges and universities throughout the US and Canada, as we do have British Columbia Institute of Technology playing today, or I don't know what the acronym is, maybe BCIT. So we do have these games being broadcast live. Some of these games are broadcast live, and some of them are recorded as VODs, as I am doing here. And we do have Benjamin getting his gas, very standard build so far. We'll see if he makes any alterations to account for the free backside expansion here. And perhaps we'll see something of the same from RevsynC. Maybe wants to get a faster back expansion here because it is a free expansion on this map. Again, with the Collegiate Star League, we also do have sometimes events such as the Collegiate Masters Star League. In that event, we'll be playing there will be 64 players playing, and it's coming up on February 12th. We hope that you guys will be able to tune into the live stream or watch our VODs. There's a $900 cash prize if you're interested in actually coming to the event live. It's at UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. You can check that out. You can come to the event. Send us an email at cmstarleague@gmail.com to ask about the event, and we'll get right back to you to see if you can play in it. So we'll get right back to looking at this game here. We'll take a look at the production tab, and we do see the concussive shells finishing up, as well as marauders queued up for RevsynC. Does want to get out as many marauders as he possibly can. We do have warp gate research being researched right now by Benjamin. He's also getting out his sentry, perhaps gonna go for some sentry expanding some of that business there. He does have a probe here, throwing down more gateways here. He is also grabbing his second gas, so we'll be seeing plenty of sentries out. Is going to back that stalker up, prevent any damage. He did see the marauder and the marine coming out. We do have RevsynC now grabbing his expansion after one barracks, so it is a fast expansion coming out of our Terran player. And Benjamin, we'll see if he looks to do the same real soon. He is finishing up his warp gate research, also currently boosting out another stalker. He is sending a probe down to the backside. We'll see if this probe does decide to throw down a expansion, or if it decides to just go for the backside rocks. We should be seeing an expansion real soon. Some micro going on here. Benjamin force fielding that ramp, preventing the units from running up. Benjamin also throwing down his expansion nexus. Is looking like we're going to be going into at least the two basing phase of the game, the mid game. We'll see if they do take this to the mid game. Additional sentries just warping in there. We'll be able to use that to prevent Terran from running up his ramp and doing tons of economic damage, forcing Protoss to pull off the probes. We do have Stimpack now on the way, as well as reactors being thrown down on these two barracks, as well as a fourth barracks on the way for our Terran player. He does have his natural expansion completed now. We'll be able to mine from that soon. Maybe even get an orbital command. We also have bunkers being thrown up. Does not want to get busted early in the game, as he does not quite know about Benjamin getting this expansion, but he can almost assume it's looking at the unit count coming out of Benjamin. He's also getting his robotics facility up, so 3-gate robo is now out, and as always, the first unit coming out of that is an observer. RevsynC looking a little low on the SCVs, but because he did transfer them to his natural. We'll see if he does decide to grab these gases here and try to tech a little bit more. He is now finishing up the stim pack, massing up a good Marine Marauder force. We do have that observer now on the field, as well as the Colossus Den on the way. Yes, there's the Colossus Den, as well as a forge for those upgrades. Colossus with upgrades are just so good, gonna be able to roast those Marines all that much faster, as well as the extended thermal lance. The range upgrade makes those Colossus just so strong, forces Terran to get out those Vikings to deal with it. We do have immediately the weapons level 1 upgrade coming out. Nearly every single Protoss unit on the field, yeah, every single Protoss unit that Benjamin can produce will get that upgrade. Makes it really strong. He does see the push coming from Terran, will be able to prepare for that, warping in more units, perhaps more sentries, to be able to force field off his ramp infinitely. Unless Terran decides, yeah, Terran is looking like he's going for the backside. That observer is no longer following, but is something that Benjamin can assume. Observer getting a great look at what's going on in RevsynC's base here, and the Marines and Marauders now arriving in the back, gonna start pounding away at those rocks. Benjamin can see those rocks and is now moving units here. Stalkers warping in, gonna be able to deal with this push quite easily. We do have Marines and Marauders being rallied to the front. The rocks are gonna be going down real soon. Benjamin is splitting his forces up, wants to make sure he is able to defend both sides in case he does decide to go for a stim. Stim and run up the ramp. Now engaging the forces here. Force fields being thrown down here. Going to be able to trap some Marines in the inside and be able to take those out easily. A Colossus now popping out. The extended thermal lance is now on the way. The range upgrade, as well as the weapons level 1 now finishing up. Protoss now grouping his army here. Terran is abusing Protoss's mobility here by getting forces at the front and the back. Gonna be able to poke up both sides, and Benjamin is bound to make a mistake eventually, and will be able to just bust into his base, and that sentry will run out of energy, but it is reaching max. Protoss advancing here, gonna force field off a couple of Marines and Marauders. They're gonna be able to take that out. We also do have a force field going down at the front, and there's just a little bit of a gap there, and RevsynC is going to be able to stream into the main base. Might even be able to take out these techs. No, he's just going to go straight for the probes. Benjamin is trying to pull his units back here. Going to be able to take out a bunch of probes here. The probes are now running away, and the Colossus moving in. 2 Colossus now. Going to be able to clean up these Marines, or force them to back out at least. RevsynC is still continuing to go for it. He's going to suicide these units and to deny the mining here. Benjamin needs to remember to put probes back in gas. It's a common mistake, and we'll sometime later you'll be like, where's my gas? And we do have RevsynC now backing up. He knows that he cannot face this force head on. Protoss does have quite a strong army here, but he is getting a little bit like far spread apart here. He needs to group his army back together and make sure he doesn't get individual pieces of the army just picked off by these Marines and Marauders. Does look like Benjamin is going to be going for a push real soon, perhaps maybe even going for the backside with the Colossus. He's grouping his army up, throwing down the Guardian Shield, is going to start marching up the front. We do have the Medivacs popping out and not Vikings, so won't be able to take out those Colossus as easily. We do have the Marines and Marauders stimming and moving over here. Going to be able to, not quite able to deal with this. The Colossus holding their ground and is killing off all of those Terran units. Protoss is now inside Terran's main with units just streaming in from the main base. A proxy pylon now warping in as well. And it does look like RevsynC has nothing left. He has no units coming out. He's just got those 5 Marines on the way. It does look like Benjamin will be securing this win for Texas A&M as the blue Protoss player. RevsynC just holding in there, wants to try to get out these Marines and hopefully deal with these Colossus and Stalkers, but it's just not quite enough. That Marauder running to the side, not wanting to engage. GG calls the RevsynC, and we are going into Game 3 with these matches tied at 1-1 for each team.